For a multitude of reasons, be it the memes surrounding its opening, the fact it's the latest anime from acclaimed director Masaki Yuasa, or just the genuine passion for the subject matter both the cast and staff exert, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken has invaded the collective consciousness of anime viewers at the beginning of this new decade. And this fact alone is enough to give the series an additional lens of metatextual goodness to view both it and the medium of anime through. A certain level of this is to be expected though, with an anime adaptation of a manga about wanting to make anime. But fun fact, this meta-overlap of mediums technically didn't start with the series that debuted at the beginning of January. Back in 2018, students at the Nihon University College of Art were asked to submit a proposal for a promotional spot for the manga. 8 pairs were then selected from the 30 entrants to make said proposals a reality. Several teams, including the ultimate winner, decided to animate theirs. In effect, those pairs then directly paralleled the animator duo of Midori and Tsubame in the series, which is a stroke of pure genius on both a promotional and creative level, while also walking perfectly in step with the themes of the manga. All 8 entries are available to watch on the YouTube channel Big Comics, so I'll include some links down below. They're all fun, but I think my favorite one is where they're utilizing several different mediums. It feels like it's truly capturing the spirit of the manga and the inventiveness showcased by the anime that would air a little over a year later. So please do check them out, because with how much fan art I've seen for Eizouken on Twitter, it's a crime these videos aren't more well known or viewed. But speaking of the anime, it feels in the same meta vein as something like Bakuman or Shirobako, only with the pulse being taken at a different place. No terribly complex theme or motivation has been decided about the thing they want to make. Most of the nuanced narrative questions take a backseat to an unfettered appreciation for the medium of animation and the imagination that lets our protagonists engage with this enthusiasm in an incredibly cathartic way for both them and us as the viewer. Unsurprisingly, it's something animation is ideal for exploring. Not discounting the source material though, the manga by Sumito Owara clearly has a lot of love for both mediums mixed into it. But in reading these same sequences, the escapades into another world aren't as defined compared to the normal backdrops of the manga. It's simply harder to present in a static black and white comic. Same goes for explaining the principles of animation like we see in episode 2. Being able to have it, well, animated is going to be more intuitive for a lot of people than any amount of verbal explanation alongside a still image. And yet, I don't think the series would have translated this well to anime if the creator was not as passionate about the medium as they likely are. Looking at how much they think about the technical aspects of animation, the level of detail for the contraptions that show up for a few pages in a single chapter, and how they approach a ragtag team of 3 going about producing something. Owara is clearly looking for a balance between these elements to convey a love for the boundless potential of animation without using animation. And I think they do so brilliantly. This passion clearly resonated with those working on the adaptation, and only amplified the power an anime has to elevate its source material beyond something that's simply a retelling with more drawings, color, and music. Yuasa's direction, paired with character design by Naoyuki Asuno, who handled designs for both Osumatsu-san and the 2017 adaptation of Mahojin Guru Guru, makes for a delightful combo that sees a simple yet expressive cast breathe that same love of animation into every scene they're on screen for. It's a production that feels like a match made in anime heaven, and is a series I've seen only praised for online and has reminded many a viewer about why they enjoy this medium and came to love it in the first place. Which brings me to my last point. I can't understate how many ways this series represents everything I love about anime. From the memes, to the community response and engagement, to the series itself being a fantastic and beautiful depiction of the unlimited creative capacity of animation and its ability to bring people together. But even above all that, I love that Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken has introduced so many more people, particularly in the West, to the manga. I don't have hard numbers, but I'd wager the vast majority of people watching outside Japan knew virtually nothing about it or its adaptation beyond it being Masaki Yuasa's latest project. But that's not terribly surprising considering there's no official release for it, and even the fan translations I found only go up to chapter 5. Though if I had to guess, I'd say we'll likely see both those facts change thanks to this explosion in popularity. Someone's gonna want to try and capitalize on it. Point being, there are only so many ways people in the West are gonna find new manga to pick up. Plus, with streaming being so prevalent now, and the seasonal grind being what it is, I'd be surprised if anime wasn't still a major gateway to the source material. I can really only speak from personal experience, but just in the past year or so, the adaptations of Bloom Into You, Astra Lost in Space, Vinland Saga, Kaguya-sama, and Attack on Titan have all convinced me to continue the story in their respective manga, and I'd love to add Eizouken to that list if the opportunity presents itself. The power anime has to distribute largely unknown stories like these to such wide and new audiences, stories that otherwise may never get the chance to reach our eyes, is one of my favorite things about this medium, especially when the reception is this warm and positive. I hope we can remember what this feels like and take it forward into this new year and decade. But those are just my thoughts, and as always, I'd love to hear what you have to say. What are your thoughts on Eizouken? Obviously, I tackled it more from a meta standpoint than an actual narrative or animation standpoint, so any thoughts on that are obviously welcome. And what are you enjoying this season or looking forward to in 2020? Those thoughts and any others you can leave down below. Thank you so much for watching though, and as always, an especially big thanks goes out to my awesome patrons, OverjoyedSoup, MVPino, James Morton, Marbled Ranger, Spudge, Beorn, Pokkle, Yuki Aly, and everyone else whose support helps make videos like these possible. Links to that Patreon if you'd like to join them, my shirts, and everything else are either down below or on the screen right now. Leave a like and be sure to click that bell icon to keep up to date, or you could just follow me on Twitter for updates. Stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.